What's up, you guys? I'm at the Hustler, and Ethan hit me up the other day, asked me to play some 2-3 against him. Not gonna pass up an opportunity to take some money from him, so especially after he took some money from me. So let's go, hit that intro. Cheers.
With the guy Brantzen, who has the Brantzen poker logs.
No! Let's go! Let's go!
Tell him he's got a lot of class, and it's all low.
So I show up and we're actually playing 1-2, but before you click off, let me tell you, this was the craziest 1-2 game I've ever played. See, pretty much everyone here is either an influencer of some kind or a poker vlogger, and it gets freaking nuts. I buy in for $500. We're using mostly $2 chips because why not? And the first big hand I get is ace jack off in the big blind. There's a straddle to $4 followed by a double straddle to $8. 5 people limp. I have a good hand, time to thin the field a bit. I raise to $60. Well, I get 4 callers.
That's not what I wanted to happen. Everyone wants to prove to Daddy Ethan that they can play. I will say only one thing. Someone has a hand that doesn't belong.
Anyways, we're 5 ways to the flop that comes queen, 6, 8, 2 hearts. There's just no point bluffing into 4 other people, so I check. The double straddle bets 150 and gets 2 callers. I'm so out of there, I fold. The turn is the 3 of hearts, and all 3 players go all in. The river is another 6, and you want to know what these psychos had? The winner had king 8 of hearts for a flush. Okay, fair. The guy who shoved had some sort of bluff, and the last guy had 8-3 for a turned 2 pair. But I made it $60 pre-flop. So yeah, it's a wild game. The very next hand I pick up ace jack off again. There's a $4 straddle. The hijack opens to $16. The cutoff calls. Let's try raising a second time. I 3-bet to $76. The straddle, who just finished bluffing his entire stack off last hand, 4 bets to $200, and it folds back to me. He could be on tilt, but his cold 4-bet still looks really strong, so I just fold, and he shows kings. Good fold, but still not starting off great for the day. I add on $200 to keep my stack healthy, and in this next hand, there's a $4 straddle, an $8 double straddle. I'm here for a good time, so I put on the triple straddle and put out $16 before I see my cards. Lady Luck rewards my degenerate behavior with pocket 9s. Action folds to the big blind, who raises to $50. A little background on my opponent. His name's Kiran. He is a friend of mine and another poker vlogger. Today, he's been playing roughly 99% of hands. He was the guy from earlier who had 8-3. Anyways, I should be light years ahead of his range here. I 3-bet to $150. Kiran makes the call, and we see a flop of 4 deuce 8 rainbow. He checks. This is a great board for 9s, and I have less than a pot-sized bet left, so I am all in for about $300. He most likely would have raised me pre-flop if he had a bigger pocket pair than mine, so I'm feeling pretty confident. Kiran folds, and we take it down. Moving on, I'm in the $4 straddle with Jack Queen of Clubs, and the under the gun, his name's Jack, raises it up to $16. The Lojack calls, I call, and we're 3 ways to a flop of Jack Deuce 9 with 2 spades. I check, and Jack continues for $24. The Lojack calls, I have top pair, so I'm not going anywhere, but I think raising would be a bit of an overplay here, so I just call, and the turn comes the 6 of hearts. It's a safe card, it doesn't complete any of the draws. I check, and Jack puts out a bet of $70. The Lojack folds. It's on me. Jack could have a hijack, in which case Jack's jack would beat my jack, and I don't want to get stacked with a jack against Jack's jack. On the other hand, he could just have a draw, so I call, and what do you know? The river is another jack. So now I have trip jacks, making it less likely that Jack's jack is in fact a jack, and more likely that he's just holding some busted draw. I check to give him an opportunity to bluff with a misdraw, but he checks back. I show my cards, and they're good. And if you guys want to help Jack get his $100 back, go stream a show on Netflix. Before we move on, let me introduce you to some of the people at my table. This is Nick, Margot, Brian, John, Capron, Ethan, and Brian. But especially remember this fashionable young man. He's going to be on here a lot. This next hand is a PLO double board bomb pot, so we get 4 cards each. There's 2 boards, and the winner of each board gets half the pot. Everyone puts in $10. We see 2 flops of 7 ace queen and deuce 6 9. I'm holding 7 8 3 3, but you can only use 2 of your cards on each board, so right now I have a pair of 7s on one board and a straight draw on the other. Not good enough to bet, so I check, and it checks all the way through. The turns come a 7 and a 5, so literally the best cards that could come. I now have trip 7s on top and the nut straight on bottom. Ethan decides to put out a massive bet of $2, but big as it is, I raise even bigger and I make it $86. Nick calls, Ethan gets out of the way, and we're heads up to the rivers. It comes a 7 and a king. So now I have quad 7s on top and the nut straight on bottom. Literally the double nuts. I bet $200. Nick then goes all in for around $500. I call, of course, and poor Nick shows ace 10 something. He had top boat and aces on bottom, so it's a pretty brutal cooler for him. But for me, I scoop the pot.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Moving on, I pick up ace jack off on the button. There's a straddle, and Kiran raises to $20 from the Lojack. Ethan calls from the cutoff. I think it's a good spot to 3-bet. I make it $80, and both of them call. The flop comes out 5, 6, 8 rainbow. We all check. Turn is another 6, still no good for me, and I end up folding to a bet. Then I get pocket 5s in the big blind. There's a straddle. Kiran opens to $14 from the cutoff. I call, and the straddle calls. 3 ways to a flop of deuce 6-4 with 2 diamonds. We check to Kiran, who puts out a c-bet of $20. I have a pair and a gut shot. It's a good board for my range, so I debate raising, but ultimately decide to just call since I have decent showdown value. The straddle folds. We're heads up to an 8 on the turn. I check. Kiran checks back, and now I'm pretty confident I have the best hand. The river is a 9. I check again, just wanting to get to showdown, but Kiran bets $100. It's a little over a pot-sized bet. Kiran is saying he has a big hand or a bluff. I doubt he would play a set or a straight this way. Bet, check, betting. Kiran has a pretty aggressive style, so I put him on a 9 or nothing.
With that 9 on?
I'm curious. I call, and he, of course, shows king 9 off for a rivered top pair. Next, I pick up a monster pocket aces in the Lojack. There's a $4 straddle and an $8 double straddle, so I open to $24. Kiran calls in the big blind, and then Capron comes rocketing out from the straddle. He 3-bets to $100. It's time to play a big pot, ladies and gentlemen. I 4-bet to $250, and it folds back to Capron. He's looking at me. I'm looking at him. He's a dad. I'm a dad. We got that dad connection. I know he's calling. He does call, and the flop comes 3-3-4 with 2 clubs. Capron checks, and even though this is a paired board, I still put out a hefty c-bet of $300. I think there's a good chance Capron has a pocket pair like 10s or jacks, so this sizing sets up a turn jam quite nicely. Capron calls, and the turn is another 3. Perfect card. Any pocket pair now turns into a boat, which we all know can be pretty hard to walk away from. I go all in for $670. Capron is wildly uncomfortable. He's thinking about how many diapers he's losing for $670, but ultimately, he makes the call. I show, and I take it down. After that, I try 3-betting Kiran with 8-9 of spades, but he 4-bets me to $140, and I fold. But then I pick up ace-queen off. This time, Ethan opens, and he could see that little glint in my eye.
Brantzen, we're all friends here.
I 3-bet, and it gets through this time. Next up is a no-limit double board bomb pot. Same rules as the other one, but this time we only get the regular 2 cards. I have ace-8 off. The flops come 3 ace-4 and 6-9-10. I have top pair on one board and a gut shot on the other. So when Capron bets $30, I call, and 3 others, Nick, Fish, and John, make the call as well. 5 ways to the turns, which come a jack and a 7. I improve to a straight on the bottom board, and there's currently no combination of 2 cards that can beat me on both boards. John bets $80. Capron folds. It's on me. I'm not sure whether I want to raise to 300 or just go all in right now for maximum fold pressure so I can just scoop the entire pot. But John's a short stack, so he's not going to fold anyway. I raise to 300. Nick goes all in for 600. John's all in for his 144. I'm all in. It's a 3-way all in. The rivers come a 2 and a 2. Nick has ace 10 for top pair on both boards. John has 5-8. He managed to river a gut shot to get a straight on both boards. So John takes the top board with a straight and splits the bottom board with me for having the same straight. He takes 3/4 of the pot. I take 1/4. And poor Nick gets screwed again.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
Okay, let's get aces again. No big deal. I'm on the Lojack this time. And there's a $4 straddle, so I open to $14. And Nick 3-bets to $40 from the hijack. It folds back to me. I gotta put in that 4-bet. I make it $120. And Nick 5-bet jams for $450. It's a cruel joke at this point. I call, of course. The board runs out 6, queen, 4, 8, jack. Nick has 10s, pretty gross. And I take it down.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Nick.
It's okay.
I've done you dirty today.
You deserve it.
Even after getting coolered and coolered and coolered, Nick has a heart of gold. What a guy.
I will remember you.
Last hand of the night, we're playing a pineapple double board bomb pot now, so we get 3 cards this time, but have to throw 1 away. My hand sucks, don't worry about that, I fold, but Nick is all in for $10. He's playing the last hand with us for fun.
Come on, Nick. Nick, what do we got? What do we got here, Nick? Okay. Oh, let's see what we have here. Okay.
I think we're looking good.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if we're good anymore.
He's got king 7, baby. He's got a king. Let's go. Nick Austin, ladies and gentlemen, big winner.
I'm unstuck.
And after that crazy session, we call it a night.
All right, you guys, I just finished that session. It was the craziest 1-2 session of my life, playing with some really cool people. Ethan brought along a really cool group. We played 1-2, and I was in for 700 and out for 28.43 for a profit of $2,143 playing 1-2. I had aces a few times and got really lucky with the spots. Ran really well. And what can I say? I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.